The World Health Organization has now declared the novel coronavirus a global health emergency. It's a move the organization very rarely uses. There are more than 9,700 confirmed cases in China, and the death toll has reached 213. But what makes this so extraordinary is not just what's happening in China, but in other countries. The U.S. is seeing its first person-to-person spread of the disease with a husband and wife in Chicago. In Washington state, a Snohomish County man is the only confirmed case, but as of this afternoon, the Washington Department of Health says 67 close contacts of the superbug are being monitored. Still, the World Health Organization says the threat to the general public is low. Chances of catching the flu are much higher and dangerous for Americans, but even with that, novel coronavirus is having an impact on the inland Northwest. Our local universities are on alert. Some have even changed travel plans. For one local man we spoke with, the coronavirus is a heart-wrenching nightmare. Tonight, we learned his father just died from an unconfirmed case, and his mother is still living in the epicenter of the outbreak. China is now accepting help from international experts as the number of infections and the death toll rises from the novel coronavirus.
There is no cure right now for this coronavirus. There is no vaccine right now for this coronavirus. The treatment medically is just supportive care.
It's the unconfirmed cases that have a Spokane man we spoke with frightened. His mother, sick and tested for the deadly disease. His parents described to him thousands flooding Wuhan hospitals with waits of up to 6 hours to see a doctor. They made it to a clinic just before the city shut down all transportation, leaving them no choice but to walk an hour and a half back home as his mother still suffered from pneumonia. With a population the size of London, the Spokane man believes this is the first time in history his hometown of Wuhan, China, has ever experienced a lockdown. His fear of the virus and for his family is growing. It's also his fear of retribution from the Chinese government that kept him from going on camera.
The tendency on the part of China often is to suppress any kind of local voices.
We reached out to Father Michael Connolly, an associate professor of political science at Gonzaga University. He shared his insight into the Chinese Communist Party and how they operate.
One of the myths of the Chinese government system is that we have plenty of all of the supplies that are necessary, but somehow or other people can't get hazmat outfits. Many of them can't get the masks that people should be wearing at this particular time.
While the Chinese government has said they'd build new hospitals just to address this outbreak, even sending their government officials to Wuhan in person, the coronavirus could be the shakeup that brings changes.
So it might bring a little bit more pressure on them to actually be more honest and open and reach for help from international sources.
Until transportation resumes in Wuhan, the Spokane man who shared his story says he is helpless, hurting, and waiting for updates like the rest of the world.